Academy of Islamic Propagation. ACADIP.
I'm Lai Olurode, Professor of Sociology at the University of Lagos. I am from Iwo in Osun State. I would say it should be more than a decade, and as a matter of fact, being impressed by the preachings and dawah interventions of the chief lecturer of ACADIP. On my own, I made effort to cultivate his friendship. There was one of the people that he got converted to Islam, one who is now Mustafa. As the chairman of the University of Lagos Muslim community, we did everything possible to get him settled. He is now in Lagos, in Ikorodu. We got an apartment for him, and from time to time, we pay him courtesy call through our members who reside in Ikorodu. We cannot but support his evangelical activities because ACADIP represents a very good face of Islam and is doing a wonderful job, which is a collective job that we all should be involved in. So we thought that whatever can be done to support the dawah of ACADIP, we cannot rest on our horse. If there is any jihad that any reasonable person, not just a Muslim or Christian, should support, it is about development of human capacity. And the best that could happen to any individual in life is for him to be exposed to higher education. All over the world, we have maybe about 25,000 universities all over the world. And when today you look at the population of the world, you'll be talking of about 6 to 7 billion population. And of these 25,000 universities, just about 1,500 can be regarded as high-class universities who are well-rated globally. And most of these universities are well-rated. I'm not sure there's none of them in Nigeria. In most of the developing world, it is doubtful if there is one. The concentration of the best institutions of higher education, they are, geographically speaking, they are largely monopolized by the United States. Like you have the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, you have Stanford, you have Harvard University, and a few others. You have the California Institute of Technology. So in terms of access to higher education, you will agree with me, the access to higher education is constricted in this country. It's very frustrating. I've seen aspiring students wanting to go into higher education, spending 3-4 years after their secondary education at home before they could gain admission into university. When you also look at the geography or the ethno-religious composition of universities, you will also know that Muslims are nowhere at all. If you put all the Muslim universities together, their enrollment altogether may not be up to one just university owned by the other people. And the challenge, the response should not be to bring those universities that are well established down, that these are not Muslim universities. No. It is better for you to achieve higher education at any of those institutions than for you to be excluded from higher education. Why? Why do I say this? For anybody to be anything in the world today, for anybody to be a legislator, for anybody to be the president of a country, for anybody to even get active in the propagation of the religion, if you have no exposure to higher education, your capacity to do dawah is limited. Your capacity to reach the world is frustrated. And to become anything, to get hard, is very difficult. That is why most Islamic clerics now increasingly they also cultivate Western education. And of course, it's the legacy of Islam. That is the legacy that Islam left to the Western countries. This was confirmed by Prince Charles of England. He said the world owed Muslim and Islam a huge debt. In what? In science and technology. So we have no choice. We should be at the forefront. But of course, you know the history. You know the history of the Crusaders, how they silenced the Muslims, how they even tried to remove us from the map, how they tried to remove us from who contributed to civilization in the world. And Muslims think that this is not their heritage, whereas it is their cultural heritage. So whatever we can do, I'm sure Iwo is ready for ACADIP. And I can assure you, the Oluwo has more than mobilized the people in the town. Whatever we can do in cash and in kind, the people will support ACADIP. And we also talking to people in the diaspora who are from that area, that this is our home. We did for Bowen University. We never saw Bowen as not belonging to us because it's there in Iwo. And everybody, all mosques in the town, all churches in the town, prominent people in the town, they donated heavily because the Oluwo of the time, Oba Ashirola Tubosun Tadeshi, said, this university is in your community. What can you and I do to support the university? He more than mobilized. And I can assure you, the current Oluwo of Iwo, Oba Dr. Abdulrasheed Adewale Akanbi, Telu the First, will do whatever is necessary to make sure to talk to everybody all over the country that there's this university in Iwo. If I'm mentioning alone that the university is going to announcing by ACADIP Chief Executive that the university is coming to Iwo, that has sent very strong waves to the people in the town. We're just waiting and we're praying to Allah. We are very prayerful that whatever we can, we will support, and there'll be no regret at all. Because we have the population. Iwo has the highest populated local government in the state. So we have the population, we have the network of roads. We are close to 25 minutes, 30 minutes you are in Ibadan. 25, 30 minutes you are in Osogbo. So what are we talking about? Even in Ilobu. So we are willing, the town is willing, and Imam Adequaji also knows it, that the ball is not in our court again. Whatever can be done to facilitate the takeoff, it's like the takeoff should be tomorrow. And I can assure you, we also run a school in Iwo, the Win School. Whatever partnership we can enter into to make sure that we get students for that university, we will not stop at anything, inshallah. For ACADIP, honestly, I've told the chief lecturer this: don't dream big for takeoff. Because I was involved in a university establishment before, and I know there are challenges. The major challenge is that of funding. And I would say that if it is possible, just go for a faculty. If you ask me which faculty, I would say Faculty of Science and probably Faculty of Humanities. Islamic jurisprudence, history, geography, philosophy, then science. Because we need more scientists in our domain. Secondly, there should be no discrimination at all, because the Prophet of Allah that we follow, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it never discriminated between Muslims and Christians. He considered to them throughout their day what is due to them. We have been denied in the past, but we should not retaliate. We should not pay them back in that coin. We are just coming up, we are doing our best. Let them come and see the beauty of Islam. And that's the philosophy that drives the Win School, of which I'm the proprietor, inshallah, and my wife. We make sure Christians are lecturers, there are teachers there, there are Christian students there, and there's no other way they can see the beauty of Islam. We would never coerce them to practice their religion, because in Islam there's no compulsion. Allah touches the heart of whoever He chooses to touch. You cannot do it by force. Prophet tried it, and the Prophet of Allah, he was told that no, you cannot force your uncle to accept Islam. You cannot soften his mind, because we have not destined him to be saved. So it's the same thing. So we have to be liberal in terms of admission. In our employment policy, should be liberal, because there's no better way to co-invite people to Islam other than through good deeds. When they say, no, Adepoju is like this, and I'm a Christian, I'm working with him, they can, because of that, Allah can touch them and change them. But if we run an enclave, an internal kind of thing, internal colonization, there's no way that people will embrace or they will see the beauty of the religion. Thirdly, I would say that have a plan. Don't look big in terms of recruitment of students. It takes time to build a university. You start small, but start small, then you grow big. Don't ever think until you see 1,000 students, 500 students, you will not start. No, 20 students, get started. And I'm sure people who wants to do dawah, who want to do fisabilillah, if I'm in a war around that time, by the time the university takes off, inshallah, Allah's plan in our lives, I pray I will have retired by then. Whatever services we can do, whatever support we can do, to even talk to co-lecturers, to come and lecture there. If you are going to take 100 naira per hour, you can take 25 naira, you can take 50 naira. That's your contribution to Islam, your contribution to your community. If possible, I think ACADIP should look for partnership as well. You can reach out to international organizations, they can supply you with, and I'm sure there are all kinds of facilities out there that you can tap into, things that they are not using. When I was a guest lecturer at the University of California in Irvine, I used to come back with books that say that they don't need them again. They just dump them at the waste. When I bring them to my students, they are like new. I'm talking of, you can get 2019 books, they throw them away because the factory is ever producing and new things are being produced. The other ones, they don't need them. Professors would take books from me from their shelf. Computers that are not needed, they come here, you can get them rehabilitated and repaired. I think I will ask ACADIP to look in that direction. If it needs shopping around the world in terms of navigating the internet, do that. You will see a lot of support in kind that will grow that university. Don't think that you have to start with the best equipment. No, whatever you have, get off ground.